Good day, this is Justin Pineda, and for this session, we'll be talking about ways to reduce your personal attack surface. Now, for the topics to cover, so we have four. The first is the cyber threat environment, and then we'll be talking about two very useful and important online tools such as Namechk and Haveibeenpwned. And last is, of course, the cliche topic on strong passwords. So let's begin on cyber threat environment. So when we talk about cyber threat environment, so when we talk about threat, by default, it's anything that can cause harm to you, to the organization, to the assets in your organization, right? So it is an activity. Okay, so when we drill down to cyber threat, it is an activity intended to compromise the security of an information system. So targeting the CIA, right? The confidentiality, integrity, availability. But of course, when we talk of threats in general, it can be natural threats, it can be physical threats. Okay, but here we're limiting it to cyber threats. Any um, threats pertaining to compromising the security of an information system. So usually it talks about hacking, talks about alteration of your data, etc., etc. So when we talk about cyber threat environment, it has something to do with the playing field. No? So it's the online space where the cyber threat actors conduct their malicious cyber threat activity. And when we go to our personal layer, how do we assess our cyber threat environment? Okay, so the simplest way to identify the cyber threat environment in the personal level would be to identify the apps and websites that you use. Like for example, what are the websites that have you used in the past? And what applications have you signed up for providing personal information, your photos, etc., etc. Can you still remember all of them? And the reason why these applications are considered cyber threat environment is that if at some point the application gets compromised because there's a problem with the platform, with that app's infrastructure, that may be one reason, or because you used um, a very simple password or the email that you use has been compromised, and then cyber criminals can use this to their advantage, get information about you, and use it for, you know, malicious activities, either identity theft, impersonation, blackmail, and so on. Right. Now, one of the tools that you may use to determine your cyber threat environment is an online tool called Namechk. Right. So this is Namechk. You go to Namechk, spelled as namechk.com. It's a free online tool that you can use to check um, different um, different web applications, websites. So the way to use it is you input your email address. It can be personal. You can start with personal email number one, then number two, number three. And what Namecheck does is it shows you which websites have you used your um, email, the email that you type in this particular applications. So there is an existing account associated with that email to that application. For example, this. So all of these greens here means that your email was used to sign up to one of these applications: YouTube, Blogger, Shopify, Reddit, WordPress, right? The red ones means you, you the red ones mean that you did not use that email to sign up for it. Okay, and then you can show more and then show more and then show more. Now, what does it say about the threat environment? It shows you which applications have or have um, some personal information about yourself because you signed up for it. Probably you put your address, your telephone number, and other information. So that will give you an idea about your potential threat environment. Okay. So what are the insights here? In Namecheck, okay, you'll be able to identify these apps that are existing, and the realization is we have to limit the apps that process our data. Right? So choose the ones least privilege, okay, zero trust. These are concepts that can be applied in a very complex infrastructure or a simple, you know, a simple perspective like in a personal level. Limit the apps. Okay, deactivate those apps that you are not using. Very important. You can do that now. There is, you know, uh, we have data privacy laws globally that are mandating um, technology, not only technology companies, but those organizations that collect and process personal information. And there is a provision on right to be deleted, right to be forgotten, right? So we can deactivate this and remove personal information from these um, applications. Third is another realization: there is no need to create accounts every time. At times we are in a rush just to get the information that we need, that we have to sign up and provide personal information. We don't need to do that every time. At times we just have to use this once, then that's it. Um, and the last is there is an opt-out provision, meaning at, at any point you don't like to have your information in their database, you can opt out. You can say, I don't like it anymore. You cannot hold the data, your data, in perpetuity. Alright? So there, name check. Now the next way for you um, to reduce your threat environment, personal threat environment, is through passwords. So let's go to the next one. So last November, okay, 2023, okay, NordPass, uh, a security organization handling password managers, okay, provided the top passwords used in the Philippines in 2023. So if these are the passwords that you're using, then you have to change it right away. Now, there's another tool that you can use to identify your threat environment related to passwords, and this is what we call have I been pwned. So here is the website haveibeenpwned.com. So what happens here is you enter your email address, click pwned. So pwned in security means breach or owned. Okay, so you type your email here and it will search for existing um, publicized data breaches. So if your email has been breached publicly and posted and known publicly, it will be shown here. Especially if your email is Yahoo, or in this case, Rocket Mail is Yahoo. So it will tell you it has been pawned in 14 data breaches and found one paste. So that is really bad. So if this is the case, what do we do? So if you are still using this email, you have to change the password, right? Because it means that the password has been published related to this email. And if you're the if you're the cyber criminal, what do? You cross-reference it with the tool a while ago called Namechk. Okay? Using this password, using this email in Rocketmail, what are the websites uh, which this email was used to was this email address used to sign up to one of these websites, one or more websites in Namecheck? And if yes, I will try this password that was breached and see did this person reuse this password. And if yes, which a lot of people are doing, then they will get a lot of information about you. So change, and if it's not anymore important, the email is not, you know, um, frequently used, you can deactivate it, delete it, and you know, disassociate um, other applications that you are using. For example, if you're paying your bills using Meralco or PLDT, unlink this email address, create a new one, right? Or use um, another email that is not publicly breached or publicly disclosed as um, breach. So that's why this is very important. And related to that would be the discussion on strong passwords. Okay, so the last topic on strong passwords is very, as what I mentioned, it's cliche because password we have to make it complex, right? We have to make it strong because weak passwords continue to be one of the primary drivers for breaches, and a lot of the successful breaches were due to weak passwords. That's why there are two schools of thought in security now, whether we still retain passwords or remove the cause of breaches, which would be weak password. So let's make it passwordless. Use a different authentication mechanism. But there are four key behaviors that are always um, advertised, are always reminding people um, to observe. The first one would be passphrases, which basically says think of a phrase, right? So why? Because if it's a phrase like favorite phrase like Philippines is the best, actually it's not a phrase, a sentence, so a sentence or a phrase, a very long one, and it is not found in the dictionary. So dictionary attacks won't work there. It will be harder for automated attacks to to be successful. Um, the second one would be unique passwords for all accounts. I know this is quite difficult because if the IT security policy states that you have to meet certain complexity, certain password length, then it would be hard to create a password for different unique password for different accounts. Okay, but we should still observe that. And the way for you to observe that is to use password managers. Password managers are very helpful for you to store these very complex and long passwords, and it will provide another layer of security because the password manager can help generate complex passwords that are very random. At the same time, um, you can meet this IT security policies that you have. Right? What we don't want to happen is that IT IT or security teams will implement very strict, very stringent password policies, and because it's very hard to follow, people will be copy pasting it in a notepad, and it will be useless, right? Because it's it's there. Anybody can just open it and then see it. And the last is the use of MFA or multi-factor authentication. A lot of the um, popular apps that we use have this feature to enable multi-factor, use an authenticator tool, and sync your um, account to an authenticator. So every time you log in, it will notify in your mobile phone that somebody is attempting to log in, accept or not, right? To lock it using, you know, your internet. If you have data, you can do that. If not, a number will be generated, and you will copy paste that for you to proceed. Or another one would be SMS, or it will call your phone. So these four key behaviors are very important in supporting strong passwords and helping reduce your personal attack surface. All right, so um, yeah, so that would be all. So these are some of the ways to reduce your personal attack surface. Although we say it's personal, we start everything personal. But with these key behaviors, we can apply it in the organization. If you're in the cybersecurity team, you can um, tailor feature policies that would using these tools and these strategies and techniques for everyone's awareness and to reduce the overall attack surface in the organization. There. Thank you, and see you in the next video.